See. Okay, we are recording. We are live here with Park Right Here podcast. And today we have George Ackerman, one of my good buddies and friends from the Parkinson's community. And he's here for Together for Sharon. And he has some books he wants to let you guys know about. And he's been an amazing advocate for Parkinson's for years. And I definitely show him support and love at Together for Sharon. Is it .org or .com?
.com. Yeah,
Oh,
Together.
awesome. So I'm going to let you go.
Well, first I want to congratulate you on
togetherforsharon.com.
Yeah, it's okay. I want to congratulate you, Katrina, for your the show. The show, they always say the show must go on, even though I love your former colleague who's a friend of mine. I always fully support all you do, and I hope everyone out there also supports what you do. I've been doing this. Unfortunately, it sounds sad because it's one of the families you love, but you don't want to be a part of. Unfortunately, I lost my mother due to Parkinson's, and I decided instead of kind of just moving on that I dedicate really most of my life to still finding a cure, because I felt alone during our journey with my mother, and she actually never met someone in 15 years who had Parkinson's. So as far as I knew, it was just us in the world. We didn't even know that anyone else existed. And that's the sad shocker about this. So I decided that I don't want anyone to go through what she did or anyone to feel alone. And I kind of just embarked on a mission. And I'm not going to lie, I think I've been sacrificing my own health again as a caregiver and also as an advocate, because there's so much to do. And I just feel, even through this show, if we reach just one person today, we've changed their life for the better, because they know they're not alone. So I've done a lot. I feel like I've kind of done everything I can do at this point. We donated over $40,000 last year of my own money, which we can't keep up, to different organizations and advocacy. And I didn't expect to do that or plan it. It just, when I have something in my heart that I want to accomplish, I set a list of goals and I do it. We actually published several books, have a few more coming, and we're going to probably retire, unfortunately, the books, because as I told you, it's not that I want to write or enjoy writing. It's just I do see a few areas that no one's talking about, and that's what I decided to bring to the world. But it's still very hard for books in the world of 2025. It's hard to get it out there. It's expensive. Plus, just didn't get the support from a lot of organizations I thought it would. Some of them have been a pleasure, but it's not really just about putting it out there. It's about promoting it. And a lot of them, I really appreciate them posting it, but they don't really talk about it, which has been a problem. So I'm proud that they're out there. I'm proud that they, can change the world, but it's not easy, as you know. And, some days I want to give up myself because I have my own medical issues, but I look to you and this beautiful Parkinson's community and realize that I can't give up till we have a cure at everybody's doorstep around the world.
Well, I appreciate your support more than you know, and you've been one of the first ones that supported me and Tom, and I miss Tom as well. But I know he's off to better and bigger things with, the Department of Defense and stuff, and so I'm very proud of that and proud of him as well. But I want you to promote your books, and definitely, because I just got the latest one, and that one kind of impacted me personally, because like the day before I noticed your post about your book, Policing and Parkinson's, I actually had an encounter with the local police department because I had pulled over at a McDonald's and I was having really bad dyskinesia. And so I was, and I didn't have my medication with me. So I was waiting for my cousin to bring it to me. Yes, I'm in the mountains. I'm in Appalachia. So he's right across the railroad tracks from me. And so he was bringing them, and the police knocked at my window, and it scared me. And they weren't, they didn't, they weren't exactly rude, but they were just, being a little, hey, what's wrong? Why are you acting like that, kind of thing? And I showed them I have my DBS card from Abbott, and I also have a card from APDA that says I have Parkinson's and I may slur my words. It's a really good card if you guys want to go on APDA. I think it's org, and I'm a board on the board of directors. And your book really, because I've read it on my Kindle, and it really hits home. And actually, the local police department is going to let me teach a class to the police. So I want everybody else that has that access or that opportunity to really read your books and to, keep your, not that you're going anywhere anytime soon, but your legacy. I want it to keep going because, your love for your mom, it's just amazing, even after all the, all these years. So go ahead, promote, my dear.
I Before we get to that, I do know when I started this, I didn't do this for money, and I still don't. So if anyone's listening and purchases any of the books today or any time and puts the letters of your show park right here, so I would probably say please put the whole word park right here, so I'll know, and we'll know here at Together for Sharon. We'll donate everything to Katrina and the show because I don't do this for money. I'm already out so much it won't matter. But my dream is really the awareness. I just kind of heartbroken when I see books do bad in this space because we don't do it for money. I'm literally just want people to be safe. My background, as you know, many might not. I'm a cop and a lawyer in Florida, and my PhD is in criminal justice. So, as a police officer and teaching at the academy for many years, I see no nothing. It's sad to say, but I didn't. At least I thought before I even thought about writing about it that I was kind of shocked when I went back and referred to my Miami Police Academy training to become an officer in about 2025. They list dementia and Alzheimer's, but Parkinson's disease does not exist. So I had a thing in my head, little, like you always have the good and the bad. I'm like, they're both good. They were just saying to me that, there's nothing. So I started researching for 2 years. Why is there nothing? So what I did is very complicated. I put my PhD hat back on, which I don't really love because my PhD took 7 years and I wrote a dissertation that's 400 pages. But anyway, I decided why not look into this further. So, and there's nothing like it out there still today. So I decided why not interview people with Parkinson's on their experiences and interactions, and then at the opposite end, why not interview police and their awareness if they've even heard of Parkinson's, and then finally, why don't I contact one police academy in every single state in the country, which was not easy. And I had interesting results from everything. I don't tell the secrets in case someone wants to read it, but really, in a summary, the sad thing is most police are not aware of Parkinson. Most academies do not even have the word Parkinson disease in the books for training or even for after you're an officer sworn. And finally, most people with Parkinson's fear the police, which is all sad. But if you have knowledge on research, the hypothesis, mine was correct. So a lot of the things I thought first were worse than I had imagined, but it's sad to say, unfortunately, to turn the world and to really get a hold of police, even in the field, something tragic, unfortunately, seems to have to happen. And I won't say specific instances, but as you see, the world had shocking results just a few years ago. My concern and worry is that something bad someday, somewhere in the United States, might happen to somebody with Parkinson's, and only because that
Mhm.
officer wasn't aware. And I hope with this book, if we could stop that or prevent it, that's what my goal was. And really, my true dream, which I've asked some organizations that haven't really gotten the support, which I'm surprised because it's a policy thing. My dream was not to sell the book, not to raise money, but I wish we could add the words Parkinson disease to every police academy in the country. That's it. Boom. If we did that little simple thing that could take like no money even for every academy, maybe photocopying paper, that would change the world for everybody in the world for Parkinson's or the caregivers or people who aren't aware. And it's really not that hard. You need to contact your congressmen, women, send them my book. I couldn't afford, unfortunately, to send this book to every congressman and woman in the country, which I wish I could. If I win the lottery, I will honestly do that. But I'm not. I don't play. So, but so the big thing is really that was, I always have this picture painted, and Matt, like you just said it, so I don't have to go through the story. But in one of the chapters I write, imagine if you will, and this is a pro-police book. It's not against the police. It's just for them to understand it's important. But imagine someone driving, 10 at night. They're going home maybe from family or dinner And you kind of mentioned this whole thing, but it happens, and they just get pulled over for a
Hmm.
minor traffic ticket, or maybe it was a not signaling, or maybe a light is out. They get pulled over. The officer approaches for their own safety, and obviously is very important. They might even have a gun drawn. I used to when I was pulling people over. You don't know who's in the car, what's happening. That person,
Right.
individual, has Parkinson's, and they didn't take their medicines on time, or they did and it just wore off, and now they're uncontrollably moving and they're not able to respond. The
Hmm.
officer then kind of doesn't know what Parkinson's is, and now will escalate this. So this can end up in many different ways. Could even end up in guns being fired. So it's all tragic that I feel
Right.
could be prevented, but unless it's through everybody listening, buying the book, or sharing the book like you did. I know my department is going to be really amazing. My county, where I am, where they have a COP program, which is for citizens on patrol. I've been finally asked. I ask a lot, but I've been asked to present the book to the county. So if it, even a little portion of it works out, maybe they'll adopt it in Palm Beach, Florida, and if it does, then maybe the next. But I'm always honest. I've reached out to 30, 40 police agencies. They didn't even respond. So it's a very tough situation. And I just hope I don't become famous someday. Like if this is being recorded, I hope we don't look at this video 5, 10 years ago when something horrible comes out in the national news, because they love to
Definitely.
cover
Oh
only
yeah.
negative stuff. And then all of a sudden you'll see me on all the shows. So I'd rather not be that. So this is great that we're doing it now, but I still feel if we don't get the word Parkinson's disease in every academy training, and even after academy in the sworn, it's still not going to be something that's discussed. Now, I even researched in one chapter, what's out there now. And the only thing I found is there are officers now who retired that end up with Parkinson's, but they don't. I didn't meet one person who has PD and is currently an active officer, but she or he, I won't say who, they wouldn't come on the book, or they spoke to me, but they didn't want to be in the book because they fear they'd be fired. So there's a lot of complexities to this. It's not like I think it's simple, but I think the conversation is the most important thing.
And definitely, I agree because, I know very early on, even when I was in Colorado, that my early symptoms were mostly balance issues. And I'll never be able, and I remember one of the first podcasts we did, it was with another ambassador from Davis Finney, and he was an attorney, and he said, never ever submit to a sobriety check because I would never pass it because, I can't, put one foot in front of the other. I go all unbalanced. So that always like makes me nervous. Like, what if you refuse to take a sobriety test, which is, and then what's going to happen? And yeah, because that was an I mean, this was, at least 5, 10, see, it would have been 8 years ago. And I couldn't. And so, yeah, that makes me very nervous as a Parkinson's patient. And I really think it's important to get that word out. And so I'm going to do what I can in Virginia and both ends. I have experience, my mom lives out on the other side. So we'll try to,
Right.
between APDA and
I
Davis
just
Finney, hopefully we can.
I don't know why it's not a more talked about.
Oh, I mean, for sure. And I would like you to promote your other books as well, because I've read every single one. So I will definitely, stand up and say they're great and they're really from your heart. So,
I appreciate it. I mean, I started this whole journey really with my mother's book, because that was the one that meant a lot to me, and actually won a few book awards, which has been beautiful. That's the son journey. That's a if you you know it's hard because a lot of people obviously don't want to read about someone who's no longer here, but there are people out there who want to know. Every journey is different, so you
mhm.
never want to confuse my journey with someone else. But there are people with that stomach, thing in your stomach burning and wondering what happens to someone, and the caregiver side, and it's all in there. And that one's my favorite and most cherished book. That's the one I might bring with me to my grave, because that's my mother, and we spent a tremendous amount on that. Everything again we made, we donated to foundations like Parkinson's Foundation, American Parkinson's Disease Association, and the Michael J. Fox Foundation. after that one,
Mhm.
I was, I decided to write something different, and that's what these are. The two books. It's called Voices of Resilience, and when my mother passed 2 years after, I thought there was just a million people in the U.S. and that's it. I thought that was, it's already bad enough. But then, kind of dropped my face and everything heartbroken when I found out there were 10 million people battling Parkinson's around the world. So I decided, why not? I think you might be one of them, but I interviewed over 1,000 people around the world, advocates, people with Parkinson's, you name it, even not just Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's. So I decided to share their stories in a book called Voices of Resilience. So it's a book about other people's journeys, because it wasn't really just about me and my mother anymore. I realized it's about everybody. We have to be a family together in this fight. So that one, is out there. It didn't do well, and again, I'm very honest, because it's tough. Unfortunately, you go to publisher. I self-publish, because you go to a publisher, talk about Parkinson, they hang up, because it's not going to make the money they want or the razzle dazzle. But to me, these stories are more important than that. They're hit home to if you are affected or if you're not. And if you're not affected with Parkinson's, it's likely someone you love is a neighbor, friend,
Mhm.
or they might be too. Because as you probably know, there was a story done recently on the news where they think in 5, 10 years it'll be 20 million. It's going to jump from 1 million to 20 million people with Parkinson's. So, like I said, the books will be out there forever, but it really shouldn't be about money. It shouldn't be about. I'll never understand publishers, or that reads to a different book that we'll talk if we have time. But so that one's about, that. Then the other one, like you said, is the policing one, and that one is close to my heart. My most recent, I don't even know if I have them all, but this is the one that kind of is more about me, and it's called An Empty Seat at the Table, and this one just came out a few weeks ago. And this one was born because, as you know, since we're friends, and many out there I've interviewed, is, I don't have Parkinson's today, and I'm no longer someone living that, or someone I'm living. Some days I'm not sure, but no longer a caregiver of somebody living with Parkinson's. So kind of puts me in a weird world. I'm a I'm a loved one of someone who lost someone due to Parkinson's, and I was shocked through my journey at the
Mhm.
negative side of advocacy, which no one talks about, and how I feel because of Parkinson's, we no longer have a seat at the table of my family because my mother's not here. And then some days, not with you, of course, or a lot of people, but I feel I don't have a seat at the table of conversation. And I think that's a tragedy, because if we brought back like the 10, 20,
Mhm.
30 million people who lost someone, it doesn't have to be because of PD. It could be someone who could, it's a complication. I'm not here to argue why someone, but she had PD and she's not with us. Well, if all those millions of people who lost a loved one would come back into, I say, the fray or into the conversation, I feel we'd be much stronger and we'd be closer to a cure. But most people, I feel, because I've been through it, they close the door when their loved one passes and they move on. I didn't do that. I will never do that, because I feel she lost 15 years of her life alive, and probably 15 after, because she was only 69. That's too young. So this book it actually is
Mhm.
an interesting book, because it takes you inside what I've gone through, my struggles with politicians, with celebrities, with just other
Mm.
organizations, not allowing me a seat at the table.
That's one of, I guess, my pet peeves is like, I know I definitely wouldn't, I would not put Michael J. Fox in this category, but there are celebrities who have Parkinson's who don't speak up about it. You've got Neil Diamond, you've got uh, Linda Ronstadt, you've got Alan Alda,
It's funny you
and
say that, by the way,
you
about
know,
the yeah, one quick thing I don't want to cut you off is with Neil Diamond, we went to the Broadway show. I don't know if you saw it, Beautiful Music or A Beautiful Noise, and
mm-hmm,
I loved it. But the thing, it was like kind of in my heart waiting. Like, is he going to talk about Parkinson? I don't want to ruin it for everyone. So if you
mm-hmm,
didn't see it, feel free to log out for 1 minute. But at the very end of the show,
mm-hmm,
it's not like a movie where I'm giving a spoiler. So this is a spoiler alert.
mm-hmm.
If you want to see it. So at the very end, he's sitting there as an older
Spoiler
gentleman,
alert.
yeah, talking. Did you see it? Or you didn't see it?
Mm-mm. No,
All
I've
right.
heard about it though.
Can I tell you this, or I don't want to ruin the show for you?
No, you haven't. Oh, go
All
in.
right.
Go ahead.
So,
I want
so
to
he's
hear.
sitting there with his I think it was, I don't know if it's therapist, it's been a long time, but he's sitting there and talking about his life. So at the very end, he goes, now I think it was therapy, but he has a disease, or he's sick. So he has to retire from his life. And the show ends. I'm like, that would have been the number one, one word, just throw in, he
Hmm.
was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's.
Boom. That would have, but they didn't do it. It's really like, I don't understand. And again, I respect them all. They don't have to speak like Mr. Fox. They
Right.
don't have to, but just that one word or
Or
two.
like
I'm sure
Muhammad
people,
Ali, you know,
but
have
again,
to
I don't
give
name, I
him
don't
and
want
his family a. Whew.
to, I won't name, I usually don't use names. Like in the book, there are a few that I didn't use. I took out foundation names that I had
I'm
bad.
fine.
But there are a few people with Parkinson's that are celebrities that
Hmm.
I've written to and zero response, and just I'll never. I even had one like one of my posts, but
Hmm.
won't respond, won't come on the show, won't work together, and it's like I'm basically out there every day begging and pleading people to so I can promote them. Like like literally, I don't want anything. I don't want money. We say it. My wife yells at me to stop saying it, but it's true. We don't want anything to cure and people not to know they're alone, but it's a struggle. And I think this book is important because you'll see that normal person, I hate saying that, but a regular person would have quit and would never have advocated. If you've seen some of the stories and things, I mean, I had one quick one because I know we're on limited time, but when I was 2 weeks after my mother passed, I was really crushed. Like I'm still grieving today, but I have you and
Oh
my,
yeah.
there's everyone out there now I can talk to, but I didn't know anyone then. So I went to Facebook groups, which I don't recommend. I put up a thing. I just said like I have this little band and I'm trying to get awareness. Some guy wrote, and he was from some radio thing in another country. I don't know their name. I forgot it. But he took my post and thought I was some lady named Sally or something, and thought I was scamming people. And he said I wasn't real. My mother never died. I'm like sitting there heartbroken again. Like, how could this is what I'm looking for support? And this person, so I don't know what happened in their life. Maybe there was some, but it wasn't me. Now, thankfully, after 6 years, people hopefully know me by now. And so I wrote back. I'm
Hmm.
like, look, I'm a
A lot
cop
of
and
people.
lawyer. Yeah, well, I wrote I'm a cop lawyer. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just looking for support. He took my profile, like my actual Facebook, and wrote some kind of like thing like predator on my profile and sent it to Michael J.
Wow.
Fox. It was horrible. So I hired an attorney. We went after them. They took it down. The Michael J. Fox Foundation was like definitely helpful and supportive. It was like all that was just because I wanted to be an
Come on in.
advocate, and that was
I'm
like,
live. Just to let you know.
yeah, that
No,
was
I'm
like
I'm
my
recording. I'm not live.
that was like my
That
first
that's
experience.
Chloe.
Hi. That was she's blurred.
She.
Yeah, that was so that was my
I know.
first
I was like,
experience.
oh, she's blurred, but I'll unblur. She doesn't like to be
Yeah,
on.
that's all right. Yeah, so that was my first experience. And to tell
That
you,
is just. Yeah.
most
I
people, it
even
would have
have
been the
I
last.
have trouble with some.
You go
Mhm.
ahead. Sorry.
For sure, because I do have some trouble with some of the Facebook groups because that I post on, and they'll say, "Oh, this isn't our topic," and I'm like, "Wait, we talk about every topic. We talk about nutrition. We talk about exercise. I mean, but I'm like, okay, I don't even, you know, um, Facebook groups
We're
are
supposed to all be a family in this
can
fight.
be can be, yeah, and it's like, and even with the nonprofits too, because I actually am a ambassador for Davis Finney and on the board of directors for APDA, and they both were very happy about that connection. But I actually got a email from one. We'll just say one was having a problem with the other one in other states, trying to they wouldn't let one group be at an event with the other group. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're all on the same team and trying to get the same result, like a cure and information and support and education, because there's so much misinformation out there about Parkinson's. And that's really, my heart. And it's like you said, if we touch just one person today, I'm thrilled and happy. And that's how I've always been about, being vocal and out there and doing what I do. But it's really sad to see that, even nonprofits, argue with each other. And it's like, it makes no sense to me. So I'm here to
Well, I was at
hopefully,
one event.
make a little.
I was, yeah. I was at an event once and I was shocked and so happy that I saw multiple organizations together in one event. I'm like, something's not right here. And then I found out it was just this one group bringing them together. But I'm always shocked that we don't have everyone more together. And I always repeat, we must be a family in the fight toward a cure.
Hmm.
But I found that there are individuals, organizations that are not. So, and that's just, that's what, if anyone is interested, if you read the books, you'll see a lot more in depth. We wouldn't have the time to cover. I'm excited to announce there are 3 more books in the works that will be finishing up my journey in writing, probably stop and, keep back to posting and just talking to great people like yourself. But unfortunately, I was hoping one book would fund the next one, but it just didn't. The final ones I'm
You're
proud to
blurred.
say
It's
one
okay.
is called Parkinson's and the Law. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the 3 I'm working on now. One is actually about the legal field in Parkinson's, so it's going to be all about rights. Like I feel that no person with Parkinson's should ever be discriminated against, and this book is all
Hmm.
about protecting yourself, the rights, the laws, discrimination, all things that I don't see either being talked about. I don't see any lawyers. I might have seen one talking about Parkinson's. So we started a little show where I have a fake background in court, and I teach about how to protect your rights. Then the next one is a big one, which I never really spoke about, but it's about sports and slowing the progression of Parkinson's. And the team of
Hmm.
21 writers, and it was not easy. And just today we finished the cover, so stay tuned this summer. And my final book, I don't like saying final, you never know, but really the one that will conclude everything I've done
I hope
is
not.
well, at least the books for now. I have to, they're out there now, which is great because now we can talk about them forever. They're never going to go bad until we
Hmm.
find a cure. So rather have a cure and throw them all out and we'll have a big bonfire. Till then, till the cure, we have to keep trying. But the last one will be a children's book, and it's from my daughter Brooke, and her perspective with her grandmother passing so young. And that's something with children even today. I have 3 of them, and I can't explain what happened to their grandmother because it just progressed so quickly. And their favorite time was Sunday morning outside in the backyard blowing bubbles together. And every Sunday morning, I walk by, and it doesn't happen. It's not possible. So I really wanted something that I could have used to teach my children about what my mother was going through. So that's the big one that I'm announcing. So then we'll see what the future brings.
Oh, I would love to have
Future
that one
froze.
because I have, as I call, oh, I have 2 only children, is what I say. I have a 31-year-old son and an 18-year-old daughter. So he had me as a single mom and active and all of that. And my daughter was 5 when I was diagnosed. So she
Huh.
grew up. She says she feels like she, missed out on a lot. And yeah, I would love, for her to read that book. She went to a Davis Finney conference with me 2 years ago, and she's going to the next one in August with me. She went to Minneapolis, and I didn't realize she had never seen anybody with Parkinson's either. And she said the first thing she knows, she was 16 years old, and she said, "Why do you all have the same look on your face?" And it's the mask like, the apathy kind of, the and she noticed that on everyone. And it was just, that started the conversation, and she got to see other people and how their family members, because if you think about it, if 10 million people in the world are diagnosed, they say 50 million people are affected by it, by being family members, friends, coworkers, neighbors, whatever. That's a lot of people. And if it's going to multiply as like they say it's going to, we can hopefully impact more than one. So I really love your story, and I love your books, and so I'll do whatever I can to keep you going. So
I appreciate it. And like I said, anyone who buys them anytime, doesn't have to be today, it could be, several years if they put your name of your podcast in it, we'll send any of the money. Obviously, I always say it's $5 to create it, 5 to ship it,
you're
but anything
blurred. I'm recording. I'm not live.
else
So
from it,
now my son.
Can I have 2 breaded mirrors?
Sorry, that's my son's bugging me in the background.
Yeah, but
31 going on 12.
Yeah, we would donate everything to you all to show if they write the name of
Oh,
the show on the order form. So. And that's not
I'll go
valid for
like this.
it's valid. That's a permanent valid. That's forever. So
And I'll do this because that's BTS Army Little Heart for
thank
you.
you. Thank you.
I learned that from my daughter as well. She'd kill me if I told her that, though.
Thank
If she know I mentioned that on air, but
you.
anyway, I mean, it's hard to explain it to your kids. I mean, I remember trying to explain it to her when she was 5 or 10, and it's just it's a hard thing. It's just she's always known me, sick pretty much, and she did tell me when she went to the conference a couple of years ago that she said she would start focusing on what I can do and not on what I can't do, which was a major turning point in our relationship. So that did help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you need support from family. I always take a moment in every show we do because we have the podcast, the Q&A with Sharon St. George, which it's kind of gotten out of hand too. So I want to do one a month. It's become 250 episodes in 2 months. So that's not going to, I can't, nobody could keep that going. So eventually we'll be turning the whole show to you. We'll be following you because you'll be continuing on this show. But you have to, I always say for a moment to forget about the guests, but who helps, you during, I think you've been on the show. So we say, who could we thank in your life and background? Because that you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing if it wasn't for the amazing support in the back. So.
Yeah, my background here. Yeah, Chloe, my niece, just moved out here, and I have to give her props because she's now my producer and social media director, which is easier for a 19-year-old than a 56-year-old. So,
I do love that video you posted.
but yeah, she does all the.
I love your video of dancing because I can't.
Oh, my little.
Dance moves better than me.
Yeah, you have the white guy 80s dance moves.
Yeah, I used to be able to. Now with my back, I can't even walk.
Oh, no. Well, we'll have to go out dancing together one day.
World Parkinson's Congress.
Well, oh yeah. Are you going in August next year?
Yeah, it's May.
Is it August or is it July?
I think it's in May.
May.
I mean, I'm planning on. I work a lot, so it's gonna be very. I already have I'm gonna have to bring 4 laptops and rent a big room and set it up as my workspace. So I'll probably be in and out, but I'll definitely. It's like my last big thing because it's hard to travel and go to events. So that'll probably be my last big one. But we went to the Unity Walk for the second year in New York City for Michael J. Fox, and I took so many pictures that it's gonna take me a few years to share all the. It's too many. So it was a beautiful time.
Well,
I actually met Davis Finney was there, the foundation.
I love him. I gave him. We had a hug fest.
Nice. Well, tell him we need him on the show, but he won't respond.
Well, I am getting some Davis Finney representatives. I talked to yesterday actually, and he's going to come on and he's going to try to get a couple more employees that they have, and I know APDA is coming on as well in the future, and so I would love to. Oh, I would absolutely love to have Davis or Michael or I know Linda Ronstadt. I have to give her props on this one. She did do one good interview about Parkinson's and how she can't sing anymore. So, and that really, really bothers her, and she sings to herself in the shower, and that's the only way she can, because I can understand, because my voice it's like a frog sometimes, gets that gravel, that and so that I have to give her props. She did I can't remember, it was 60 Minutes or something on CBS, but I did remember that, so I have to give her props for that.
Yeah, sometimes reaching them is the hardest part. I mean, Alan Alda has a podcast. I reached out even yesterday, but no response. So it's hard because, again, we don't want to sell anything. We don't want money. We just wanted to talk for a minute, but it's what it is.
Well, I hope for the best, and I hope for the best for you, and I know we'll keep in touch. But everybody go and check out Together ForSharon.com, and definitely the books are on Amazon. I know.
Yeah, we actually
Where
hope
else
you
can you
go.
find the books?
I wouldn't use Amazon because they take everything. I'm gonna be honest. We always say please go
Yeah.
to togetherforsharon.com, and if you click books, we have our own store. That's where we can donate to Katrina and the show. But if you go through Amazon, we won't know. And I mean, I do appreciate it through Amazon, but we wouldn't be able to donate because we won't know anything about the sale. So I always recommend if you want to keep it in the family and the Parkinson's community, go to only togetherforsharon.com, click books, and it comes to me, so I know who it goes to, where the money can go, and who to support. So it's
Awesome.
been we've been doing this with a lot of organizations and trying to see, like I said, if we work with more people and the word's out, maybe it'll help. So we had one person I love is Twitchy woman, and Sharon, she was beautiful enough to share
Oh,
it. Second she shared it, we had one sale. We didn't do much more, but we sent her the $10 we promised.
mhm.
We have it here. So it does work if we get the word out, but we need everyone to for awareness. So thank you for all these.
Yeah. I love Twitchy Woman. She was on the podcast
Yeah.
with Tom. And so, yeah, she's awesome. And I follow her on all social media. And yeah, she liked my video on TikTok.
Thank
So I never thought I'd be on TikTok, but it is what it is.
you. Yeah.
And I've gotten over 5,000 views. So
That's all. Well, we'll share it too. Just say hi on there, and anything we could do, we're always here for everyone out there. And we send our love, support. And I always say before I end of every show, we love you, we support you, we care a lot about you. You're never alone. I, along with Katrina and the entire staff there behind the scenes, will advocate for you. And I feel together our voices are so much stronger. I don't know how I memorized my ending, but it was the first time I actually said it without reading it because it's from the heart. And I always end my show with I'm just getting started, because even though there's tough days in the world and everyone's going through their own things, so the day I want to quit, I look to Katrina, I look to all you, the listeners, and realize that I can't give up. We still have a lot of work to do, and I'm grateful for the time today.
well, thank you very much, George. And you have a wonderful day. And I will talk to you soon. And everybody, this is Park right here with Katrina and Mr. George Ackerman today from togetherforsharon.com. Please support him any way you can. And we thank you again, George. And I know we'll have you on in the future because
I appreciate it.
you can't stay away.
Thanks.
I won't let you.
Thanks. Till there's a cure, I'll still be out there fighting day and night.
I appreciate that more than you know. So you take care, and Park Right Here podcast.com at Park Right Here .com, and also Park Right Here podcast at gmail.com. If you guys need anything or have a question, I'm here. I've had Parkinson's for now going on 14 years, and I'm still here and still able to talk and get the word out and dance when I feel like it. And I appreciate all your support, George, as always. So
Thanks.
take care. Have a blessed day. Love you too.